Yes, so Hairless here. Today we have a patron request from Laurie. Thank you for this one. This is In My Room by the Beach Boys. Now, some of you know that I often consider the Beach Boys to be my favourite band. There are some close contenders, but the Beach Boys and their music have been very close to me for many years now. I would have worn my Beach Boys shirt, but it's too small. I think I've been eating too much chocolate recently. I love many of their songs. On screen now is a list of some that are in my liked songs on Spotify. The liked songs are songs that I consider to be top-notch 5-star. And that list, if you pause it, isn't all of them. It just shows how highly I rate the Beach Boys. This song, In My Room, it released in 1963. It was part of their Surfer Girl album. Would have been amazing to get to hear that and see that live at the time. Unfortunately, I was not born then. As you've probably guessed, I do know this song. I did say that I know this song, but the request did remain for an analysis of it. Just not a first time reaction, and that's completely fine with me. This isn't a live performance, it's a studio recording. The video here though does show a live performance, which I think is a nice touch. Brian Wilson wrote this song with Gary Usher. Brian Wilson is one of the few modern musical geniuses I'm aware of, in my opinion, alongside the likes of Jeff Lynne of ELO. So yeah, I love this song. Let's get straight into it.
There's a world where I can go and tell my secrets to. In my room, in my room, in my room, in this world.
Yeah, if you didn't know this song, you probably get the gist of it by now. It is a fairly short song, we're already halfway through. And as this isn't a reaction, I think let's just watch to the end and then go over an analysis. A little pause here might help with copyright to show that this video is not meant to be used as a listening alternative for the song. Alright, let's carry on to the end. There we go, In My Room. It's quite strange listening to it now on camera, purely from an analytical perspective. This is one of those songs I've heard so many times, hundreds of times, so I could probably talk for hours on it, going into the tiniest of details, but, you know, I like to keep these videos fairly timely, so I'll try just pick out the main things. Let's start with the opening. We are in B major. The first note we hear is a B, because we're in the key of B. So we can think of B as number 1. And then this B chord is immediately outlined in the guitar as an arpeggio. Notice how the arpeggio is not symmetrical. The F sharp is replaced on the way down with a B. So we end with this octave jump from B to B. Reiterating this, let us know that this is the key of the song. Why I'm focusing on this and B? Well, there are no key changes at all throughout the song, so B is always the home. The chord progression of the introduction is interesting too. In itself, it's not that interesting actually. With B as our number 1, so then C is 2, D is 3, etc. These 4 chords go 1, 6, 2, 5. These are the chords. It's a very recognisable chord progression, particularly of the time. You could put many songs on top of this. Do, 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 shaboom. But what's interesting about this in the introduction is we don't hear this progression again throughout the rest of the song. Traditionally, songs tend to open with chords or motifs that they come back to later on. So when we hear it for the next time, we're already familiar with it. Just after this, the first vocal line comes in. So how does this introduction help? Well, when the intro ends, we get this magical harp line. A lot of people's bedrooms, their room, it's their place of solitude or safety away from reality. So this dreamlike harp, I think, helps to transport us to this safe place, a place where we sleep and where we dream. Brian Wilson, one of the song's writers, he supposedly said, "I thought of my room as my kingdom, and I wrote that song very definitely that you're not afraid when you're in your room." It's absolutely true. And then we get a rising bass part up to that B, our home note B. Then the vocals come in. This is vocal line 1, we'll call it, repeating that B again. Then vocal line 1 moves up to the next note in the chord. But they still want to repeat that note, that B, the home note. So vocal line 2 comes in and takes it. So we've gone from this to now this. Then vocal line 1 continues to move up, so he goes to the next note of the chord. So he has now completed all 3 notes of the home chord. But we still need that repeated B. Vocal line 2 moves up to the second note, and now vocal line 3 comes in to take over that initial B. Wow, I'm saying B a lot. So it's this progressively filled arpeggio. No chord changes. The introduction we heard before changed chords 4 times, so I think it's natural for us to expect that again. It's an opening of patience, of relaxation. The idea that in my room things are calm, perhaps even that time stops or slows down. Here is what these vocal lines look like as music. Let's quickly add some colours in here. They're colour coded so we can see how each sequential part is taking over the previous part's line. What are these red notes? Well, we'll get to that next. So they've entered with lyrics. This is the verse. We get the first chord change of the verse, and it's a slightly strange one.
Tell my secrets to.
In standard musical scales, and as we know we're in B, so let's use B as an example. Each scale is made up of its own selection of notes. To think about it simply, in standard pop music, these are usually the notes you can choose from to change chords. This is what diatonic means. In the intro, the chords that we saw were 1, 6, 2, and 5. They are part of the scale. They are diatonic. The last note of the scale, in B major, note number 7, that is this note, an A sharp. So it's A sharp that we'd expect to be used when chord number 7 is chosen. The first chord change we have there on the word secrets.
Tell my secrets to.
That is number 7. But do they use the normal number 7? Oh no, of course not. They, instead of using an A sharp, use a regular A, which is a little bit odd. Intentional or not, I like to think of this as being their little secret, being a bit funny and unconventional with the first chord change of the verse. So it's this chord, that's what these red notes are, showing how the harmony is changed to match this flattened note number 7 from here to here. So this use of the flattened 7A, this isn't a one-off. Every time we hear chord 7 used throughout the song, it's the flattened version. So onto the rhythms. As we can see, each word they sing is 1 beat, and there are 4 beats in a bar or measure. If you've seen some of my recent videos, such as Home Free's All About That Bass, or Diana Ankodinova with her yodel time, you would have heard me mention compound time. That is this. We can subdivide each beat into 3 smaller beats. So each beat is like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That gives the music a naturally bouncy or swingy feel. In this case, almost like a lullaby, a rocking baby or something. Just quite dreamy, that's the word I keep coming back to. So then we get the second verse, which is by and large a musical repeat of the first verse. It's worth noting that all voices are singing now right from the start. There's none of this layering in. There are 4 voices actually, so it's this richer homophonic harmony.
In this world I look at.
With the lowest part sitting firmly on, you guessed it, none other than that B again. An octave down from the melody, not moving, staying still. And we're starting to get signs of growth. There's a nice subtle one that I like.
In my room.
Just there in the guitar. We then have a very quick strum, chicka-chung, instead of the usual arpeggiated figure we've been hearing. So then after the verse comes the bridge. The lyrics, do my dreaming and my scheming. And then the next line on lie awake and pray. This is the first time they change chords with every single word. 1 chord per word.
Lie awake and pray.
From that perspective, in terms of the harmonic progression, the chord changes, it's the most active we've been so far. It's very fitting for these lyrics, lie awake. Also, we get this homophonic feeling of plodding along. Everything else has stopped. All we get are these chords being heard. Chum, chum, chum. It's that feeling you get when you can't go to sleep, you're just lying awake. Then after that we have do my crying and my sighing. And then the next line, laugh at yesterday. It's got this very exaggerated rise up.
Laugh at yesterday.
We know that often rises up are associated with positive thoughts. They're laughing at the memories of yesterday. Because of this rise up, the 2 lower voices, they're moving up as well. However, what we get here is a 4-3 suspension. A suspension being a method to cause tension. You hold on a note after a chord changes, so it clashes and causes dissonance, and then it resolves by moving onto the note that fits with the chord, thereby releasing the tension. A 4-3 suspension means that the 4th note suspends, and then it resolves by moving to the 3rd note. Note number 4, moving to number 3. So how do we get this if both of the moving lower parts are moving upwards? Well, it's shared between both of them. These are the moving notes. So the first one is in the upper part of the first chord, and then the second one is in the lower part of the second chord. And then the music, well, it mostly repeats overall. We can hear more of these quick cha-cha-cha strummed guitar bits now. They're becoming more frequent. And then as we move towards the end, we get more sustained chords in the vocals. The 2 chords that we hear a lot are the home chord, B, and the flattened 7 chord, A. Throughout the song as well, there's an organ playing underneath everything. These sustained chords. It's very subtle, it's not the easiest to hear, but it really plays quite an important role as the harmonic foundation underneath everything. Well, there we go, In My Room. So why do so many people love this song? I know I do. For me, it's how they created this kind of dreamlike escape from reality through the music. It's fairly simple but rich in harmonies. It's short, it's quite repetitive, there's a very reserved beat. I like when the beat does first enter as well, on the word room.
In my room.
I know that one thing I really like about this song are the imperfections, particularly with the vocal harmonies. They're not perfectly in tune, which is something that we're probably really used to in today's world of overproductionized music, pitch correction used everywhere. This is raw, pure, natural sound. Something that I think is slowly and naturally being lost to technological advancements. It's just a different sound to most things that we get today. So maybe when we hear it, we want to cherish it a bit more. Maybe that's just me. And I like how there aren't too many layers going on. A few listens and you can really hear everything, all of the different individual parts. It's not overwhelming at all. Very, very relaxing. I think let's leave that one there. Thank you again for this request. I do love the Beach Boys and I love this song. And it's a nice experience for me to be able to just go over and analyse it, a song that I've grown up with and listened to countless times. Thank you as always for watching. Would appreciate a like and subscribe. If you enjoy my content, want to support me, join the community and vote on future polls, you can do so by joining the Patreon or YouTube membership link below, and I will see you next time.